Yeah, until Friday. All right, everybody, we're going to stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, friends, welcome. Kathy, if you can do a roll call, please.
You got it. King.
Present.
Pugh.
Present.
Liff. Here. Galogli is absent. Birdbauer. Here. Deskin.
Here.
Bartleson. Cardamone.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right. Mitzi Blanchard, our police chaplain, is here to open us up.
Right. Would you pray with me? Dear God, thank you for the incredible privilege we have to call Lockport our home. And thank you for this city council, these administrators, these employees who work tirelessly to make it so. Their dedication and integrity show in every service provided, every streetscape improved, every new business established. In the uncertainty and change and instability of our world, we're thankful for steady hands and steady hearts at the helm. Thank you also for our first responders who keep us safe, for our educators who open our minds, for our spiritual leaders who point us to you. Please keep them safe in heart, mind, and body. We ask for your wisdom, guidance, and direction for all decisions that are made in this meeting tonight, and for your blessing to rest on all who are here. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Mitzi. All right. What do we get going on for liaison reports? Anything good?
Yes, we as always have a lot in the summer for special events, starting with the Trackside Farmers Market at the Lockport Metro Station. It happens every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can find local produce, baked goods, artisan goods, and more. Then we have Cruisin' into Lockport, which takes place every Monday evening at Central Square with live music, food, family fun, and an exciting car show. This coming Monday will feature my 80s band, Chicago's premier cover band. You can visit the city website for the full schedule for music. Next, we have Fridays in the Park. Our next date will be held on Friday, July 10th, featuring The Noise, a modern hard rock cover band from 7 to 9 at the Lincoln Landing. Also, tomorrow on June 18th at 5 p.m. at the Roxy, they'll host a free showing of the Route 66 Roadshow Experience, presented by the Joliet Arsenal Development Authority. It's a great opportunity to learn more about our region's history and connection to Route 66. And it's free, so hope you guys can come. And then we have Comicopolis. It returns for its 10th year with over 60 artists, writers, vendors, games, panels, and more. Admission is free, and the first 500 attendants will receive a swag bag. And then we have Movies at Illuminate. Join us on July 25th outside the Illinois State Museum for a showing of Cars. Bring a lawn chair and enjoy a summer evening with a better-than-ever sound system, food from Toro Mexican cuisine, and family fun. And the movie will begin at dusk. And finally, on behalf of the Lockport Chamber of Commerce, I wanted to thank the city, the staff, the mayor, the council members, our police department, our fire department, public works, and all the volunteers that came out to help out with Old Canal Days this past weekend. Old Canal Days has certainly grown over the past 50 years, and none of this could be done without your support. So a big thank you to all of you. And Friday night may have been one of our biggest turnouts to date, and so thank you once again for all of your help and support on this big event for our city.
Right on. Thank you, Susie.
I just want to reiterate a big thank you to the police department and to Public Works. You guys had a busy few weeks, and with the storms right before Canal Days, I know that you guys were stretched thin and probably wanted beds more than anything. So a special thank you to you guys.
Very good. Got anything, Robin?
Yep, real quick from the Finance Department, the annual Treasurer's Report has been posted to the city website. The public has been notified via the newspaper. All other year-end reporting has been completed to the State Comptroller, the Department of Insurance, the state grant agencies, Will County, and S&P, our bond rating agency.
Thank you, thank you. You guys all good? All right. I was just going to reiterate two things, Susie. The sound system on the Illuminate, it does finally work. It is always nerve-wracking every time I'm playing a movie down there and it's like not working. So it finally works like a charm now. So don't want to jinx it, but so far so good. And then, that Jada movie, if you guys have time, it's actually really interesting because it talks a lot about Route 66 and our towns and our involvement in Will County, but it also touches on how the Joliet Arsenal, which was 23,000 acres, and it was the largest munitions, manufacturer in the world at the time, how it got redeveloped into North Point. And kind of, it's interesting. If you ever wonder how we became the largest inland port in North America, this tells you a lot of how it got there. And also what happens when you don't plan outside the borders, right? And it even acknowledges the problem, right? It's like, it was a great way of redeveloping the site, but without long-term planning, and looking at the big picture, it's what ends up happening. So it's an interesting take if you have time to go see it. It's a good thing. Was the chamber here tonight? Did they say something? Or?
Next week.
Oh, is that next week? All right, I had it
next
written down on here. All right, then all good. I guess with that, then we'll jump into it. Looking for a motion to have a consent agenda tonight.
Second.
All right, did you get that, Kathy? Yep. Okay. All in favor? Aye. All right, so tonight we're looking for a motion to approve, or vote to approve special city council meeting minutes from May 26th, our regular city council meeting minutes from June 3rd, the committee of the whole meeting minutes from June 3rd, our bills through June 9th, payroll period ending June 7th, Resolution 26074, which is authorizing the city to declare items as surplus, and Resolution 26076, which is authorizing the purchase of the DACRA Municipal Enforcement System software for a 3-year agreement with the police department. So looking for a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, so we got Steve and Suze, and if we can do a roll call, please.
You got it. King?
Yes.
Pugh?
Aye.
Liff? Galogly's absent. Birdbauer?
Yes.
Duskin?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
Cardamone?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, next we're looking for a motion to approve Resolution 26073, which is the contract with the BSNA software for cloud implementation and ongoing software access. So looking for that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Robin and Jonathan. All right, questions, concerns? I know there was a couple things that were outstanding.
Yes, real quick if I could. We had a number of questions that came up last time, and an email was sent to all the council. I can just touch on a couple of those items. So one of the requests was to go and get another quote. So that was provided to you all in the email. So, oops, sorry, talking too close. So the other quote did come in substantially higher than BSNA, as we would expect, because it was a full implementation versus just moving directly to the cloud from existing software. So we still feel BSNA is the right choice for us. The other thing we were able, question came up about the service level agreement. We were able to get that attached to the contract, so it addresses what would happen if there's any downtime in the software and credits that would be issued back to the city for that. So thank you, Jonathan, for requesting that. So they did oblige and get that attached to our contract, which protects the city in many ways. So there were a couple other minor questions that were addressed in there, but if there's anything else that you would like addressed, if not, I'll look for approval.
All right, Steve.
Just want to say thank you. Appreciate the work. I know it's a lot of effort.
All right, friends, we're all good then? All right, then we'll do a roll call, please.
You got it. King?
Yes.
Pugh?
Aye.
Liff?
Yes.
Birdbauer?
Yes.
Duskin?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
Cardamone?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, next we're looking for a motion to approve ordinance 26014, which is the special use permit for the resale shop at 123 East 9th. So looking for a motion to approve there.
So move.
Second.
Christina and Joanne. Any questions, anything outstanding on this? Well, good? Okay, then we'll do a roll call, please.
You got it. King?
Yes.
Pugh?
Aye.
Liff?
Yes.
Birdbauer?
Yes.
Duskin?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
Cardamone?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, next we're looking for a motion to approve 26015, which is the special use permit for the liquor store located at 1059 East 9th.
So move.
Second.
All right, Darren, Christina. All right, so again, this is a lateral move, right? It's coming off of State Street from the old Gatz's Plaza and going to move up here. It's not a new liquor license, but a new owner. So were there any outstanding questions, thoughts, concerns on this? Okay, all right. Then we'll look for a roll call, please.
You got it. King,
Yes.
Hugh,
Aye.
Liff,
Yes.
Bergbauer,
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson,
Yes.
Cardamone.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All righty. We have some open floor comment cards, if you guys want to come up. If you don't mind, if you can all come up, I got Emily, Andrew, and Noah. So if you guys all want to come up, and Emily, if you want to take the podium first.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Hello, Emily.
Okay, so you told us to stay engaged, so here I am again as a concerned citizen of Lockport. At the last city council meeting, myself and others came here on the behalf of our neighbors to call for a ban on data centers in Lockport. After our comment, we were told by Mayor Straight that there is essentially a moratorium on data center discussions in Lockport, but why not make it official? Saying we're not going to talk about it is one thing, but actually putting that to paper and into law is another. Last meeting, you told us to trust the process. I asked that you look next door to our neighbors in Joliet. Their council showed us that despite also having a process, these data centers can still be passed even when the whole community is against it. Our friends in the JRRG are working to prove in court that the city of Joliet abused the process, and hopefully that will halt that data center being built, but still, it's alarming to see such a blatant corruption happening in the next town over. At the time of my writing this, 69 jurisdictions across the U.S. have banned data centers. Across the whole country, that's a drop in the bucket, but it's the start of something big. We have the opportunity here to show that the city of Lockport is a leader. You, the council, have the opportunity to show that you will protect our great city against a huge industry that does not care about our people and would have every intention of squeezing us dry of every resource we have. Every single one of my friends and neighbors in Lockport that I've spoken to are vehemently against there ever being a data center here. I believe that this council has good intentions, so why are we kicking this can down the road? Mayor, you said that you were putting pressure on our state and federal legislators, but you yourself said that it's going nowhere. Here's the thing, you and the council are my local legislators, my city legislators. So on behalf of myself, my neighbors, and my friends here, I'll say it again. Let the city of Lockport take charge on this and formally ban data centers here. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. All right, Andrew.
I'll keep it brief, so we get out of here before bedtime. I just wanted to echo the sentiment of banning data centers in Lockport. And you don't want to make her mad, get her started, so that's it.
Okay, thank you, Andrew and company. All right, Noah, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I come in peace, don't worry. During the June 3rd City Council meeting, when multiple community members and I spoke in favor of a ban and moratorium on data centers in Lockport, you asked us to have faith in what you called the process. What I imagine you meant by the process was your own wisdom, the wisdom of the council, and the laws which guide your decision making. And though many of us would love to have trust in these processes, the experience of other towns and cities that have become prey to the overwhelmingly powerful tech interests have led a lot of us to lose faith. Official processes have legitimized harmful actions since time immemorial. I'm sure you're aware. I don't think the city would sneak in a data center between now and May. I really don't. Luckily, in 2026, hardly any data center proposal isn't met with immediate pushback from those who stand to gain little from these developments, as I'm sure you witnessed at the workshops. The gentleman from the city staff said that nowhere other than the Star Innovation District is zoned for data centers, and that's a great point, but what is stopping the city from rezoning any parcel of land now or even after the master plan is revisited for data center construction? And Mayor, you said in the press release that suspending discussion on data center construction amounts to a moratorium, but I just don't see that as the case. A press release has no force of law. Only decisions made by a vote of the city council have the force of law and really constitute a moratorium. What I really fear, and the reason I'm returning, is that the state of Illinois or the federal government will pass some weak or incomplete regulations on data centers. So cities can say, hey, look, these things are good and safe. So now the data center build out can continue and march us down the path of AI job replacement, surveillance, wealth capture, and potentially even more environmental degradation. Now, the process I believe in is in the process of popular participation, which means when things are overwhelmingly popular, like a data center moratorium, it's the natural choice of our elected leadership to faithfully implement the will of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, no, I appreciate it. I'll try to address just a couple things to help maybe clarify. When we said no trust in the process, by no means is it about trusting in our wisdom. It was actually the polar opposite of that. It was trusting in the process that we have to follow in order to make things happen, which work outside of our wisdom. It's not anything we can change or, consolidate or do something else. And I think one of the big struggles, because I've reflected a lot on this over the past month, and how sideways all of this went. And so I've tried to be reflective of myself on this issue. Because, you mentioned, Emily, Lockport should take leadership. And the honest truth, when we started this whole idea, was exactly that. And I realized that, as I tried to be humble and think about, how did this go sideways? Some of it was political opportunism. I got two guys who lost, their seats in the last election from Homer Glen coming doing press conferences. That's just political hacks. But residents who felt like they were not being heard, this is the part that really concerns me. And I realize that I come at it from an information silo of government. And for the last year, as I've been looking into data centers and, getting myself into CMAP meetings or Metropolitan Mayor Caucus meetings, everything I do has been from a place of government. And I've been as concerned as everybody else on the environmental impact, on how they're being built with no plan whatsoever, one municipal deal at a time, without state or federal regulations. And so when there was a serious data center broker who was proposing to go look for a data center, I thought, when I said the words we have an opportunity, it really was from my silo of government, an opportunity to actually press back on an industry that has been out of control. And it bothers me too. I don't like it. I said at the workshop, it's I'm a graphic designer. I mean, I understand how it undermines, our jobs and everything else. And from a governing standpoint, I don't like how they've just been railroaded through all these communities. And so when I look at it through my silo, which is how can we take control of this? We are in a unique position in that we own the land, and so we could have made extraordinary demands of the industry, whether it was effluent recycling, whether it was zero lot line emissions standards, all these kinds of things. And so it was always about not just, hey, great, we got a data center, let's just all go do this thing. It was an opportunity to take control of it and actually show some leadership, because I haven't seen it, right, throughout the whole process, everywhere I go, where I'm at. And even when I talk to people in CMAP or the Metropolitan Mayor Caucus, they're all knocking their heads around. I talked to Rachel Ventura. She's like, yeah, we're trying to do something. And it was an opportunity we saw, as we talked a little bit about it, to take control and actually try to implement some of these standards that could stop it from just overwhelming our resources. And then the second workshop, which we never even got to, was about AI and what it means and where it's going and how do we look at. I had other education, people wanted to come to it at first until they politely canceled after they watched how chaotic it was. But it was about what do we do with AI and what's our future look like. It was always about trying to lead and control it, not just green light or put a rubber stamp on a data center. And so I understand through my point, I'm looking at it through a governing standpoint and how we could take control of it, and that's what the council looked at. And I can understand the mismatch, right? When citizens hear it, they're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like Joliet, they're just gonna green light this. This is all about the money, it's all about these things. And it is very difficult, once you guys saw it through that lens, to have seen it any other way. And I try to respect that it was almost impossible for you to see it any other way. And so, we've been talking past each other all this time. That said, when we say, state and federal regulations, I gotta tell you, what? There is probably no state or federal regulations that were gonna be as strict as what we wanted to do. When it came to not using our potable water, having to use recycled effluent, zero lot line emissions, none of those things are gonna be as strong as the state and federal guidelines. So it doesn't matter anyway. There's nobody up here who's gonna entertain something if it's not, has those kind of controls that we were really wanting to implement. That said, we'll put it off the table, we go back to our normal process. The 5-year is our normal review of master plans, and that's when the community will make the decision, just like we did the first time when they put data centers on there as a use. They also at that time took logistics off the table, because we knew we didn't want it back then, and it was a community decision. And I'll tell you how it works, so maybe it'll help ease your mind a little bit. When we do these thing in May at our review, we'll have, probably be in here, we might do it at the high school, wherever we do it. We generally set up a bunch of boards around the room, and we give people options about, like, what do we value, what do we want to see here, what are things that we want to remove from the plan, what are things that we want to add to the plan, and all that is as democratic as we can make it. Put stickers on things you want and stickers on things you don't, and it's not a secret ballot box that you can accuse us of stuffing, because it's all right there in front of your face. And at the end of it, we take that data, and if data centers are no longer something the community wants to do, then they'll be off, and that's perfectly fine with us. It's not a matter of us making a decision for the community or relying on our wisdom. It's about waiting to the normal process, which is a 5-year review. If we had gone through the workshops, we would have had that review. I think the last workshop was the end of the month. We were going to do it then. But again, it was so chaotic, and we were talking past each other that it just wasn't worth it. And again, people I had come in to try to panel discussion, the educators, the people from the utility commissions and regional planning, not data center people, but people that are trying to find a way to control this. They just were like, dude, that seemed awful. I don't want to come in there and get yelled at. So I couldn't even get those people to come back anyway, or new ones to come in for the future ones. So that's fine. Put it behind us. We'll wait until May, because that's the normal process. And you're right, we're not going to be able to sneak anything, nor do we have any desire to sneak anything in. And even if the state and feds came up with some kind of legislation, which I really doubt they are, because there's a lot of reasons that they're not going to be even close to what we were trying to show leadership on. I'm sorry we talked past each other. Hopefully that clarifies a few things for you guys. And again, please stay engaged. I'm glad you're here. And all right. That said, there's nothing else for City Council. We'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All right, Darren, Robin, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, lay it on us, Kathy. Do a roll call, please.
You got it. King.
Present.
Pugh.
Present.
Liff.
Here.
Galogly is absent. Bergbauer.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Cardamone.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, me friends, first thing on the agenda, right, the 2026 budget calendar. What we got?
Man, that's the 2027 budget calendar. I already messed up.
I was going to say, man.
It's the 2027 budget calendar.
All right.
Okay, anyway, if you move to the next slide. So budget kicks off on August 7th. We'll be submitting everything to the department heads for them to review. September 14th, they'll be returning it all back to the finance department. And we'll be meeting with each of you 2x2s in October, going through the details, getting your feedback based on the budget, and we'll present it to the public on November 4th. Do the public hearing for the public on November 18th, and we'll be seeking approval on December 2nd. So here we are, budget season.
I can't believe it's here already.
It's like painting the Golden Gate Bridge, man. As soon as you get done, you got to start over.
That's all. This is for information only, just to keep everybody in the loop on where we're at.
All right, thank you, Lisa. All right, next we're going to talk about Resolution 26078, which is the automobile repair or the bell tire, I think. So what do you got, Lance?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you noted, this is related to Resolution 26-078. The subject property on your screen is generally located north of 159th Street. It's in the yellow box on your screen, east of Edelman Road and west of I-355. Lot 4 of Springs at Lockport consists of approximately 1.59 acres that was platted in January 2026 by Compass Surveying. The planned development allows for commercial developments on the outlots that are located along the north side of 159th Street. These outlots are zoned C3 Highway Commercial, which is similar to Lockport Square to the south. One thing that would need to change if this were to be approved and move into final development plan is the Springs and/or Continental would have to come through with a modification to their annexation agreement related to auto repair specifically. The development features, let's go back to this. Development features a 9,800 square foot commercial building located in the approximate center of the area. It's surrounding the building will be a parking lot with, here we go on your screen, with 45 car capacity. The lot will connect to Continental Drive to the west and with a shared entry-exit access point. The development will have approximately 0.556 acres of open space with full landscaping around the parking lot. This lot is the easternmost along the Springs frontage. Just to point out a couple things on your screen, as you can see in the brown, that is the building structure. The parking is around it. We did not have them create an access point to the north. With that, theoretically, with it connecting to a future entry road, that would be a signal on 159th Street. We didn't think that having an access point that close to that intersection would be a positive, so it is connected to the west where that current existing road is already constructed. So that access point would be a four-lane or four-corner intersection. The landscape plan is pretty significant. It does go above and beyond what we require in our code. There is a significant amount of landscaping. One thing that's important to note on this, as many of you have seen when you've been out on the site, there is about 21 feet of grade change across this site from the southeast corner down to the northwest corner. And so to that end, I'm going to go back one along that entire southern frontage, and I'll see if I can point it out here. This line here is about a 10 to 12 foot retaining wall that will be used. So this building, I'm sure that many of you have driven past the Mr. Car Wash under construction, will have a very similar relationship to what you see with Mr. Car Wash. So it's challenging to view. Especially when you're coming westbound on 159th Street. Eastbound, it's a little bit easier, but it will be in what would easily be called a 12-foot hole on the site. And that's simply so that we can balance the earthwork and also create that access point onto Continental Drive, because that access point also slopes down pretty significantly to try and meet that halfway point. Again, the landscape is in substantial conformance with our code, includes all the things that we require. The elevations that you see in front of you are entirely brick, so they far exceed our standards and our percentages. The bay doors that you see there will be on the south face of the building. The applicant did run a sound study, and there is in essence no sound that goes to the north. So I know that that was a concern of some of the council members related to noise that could be generated and go north, but because all the bays are pointing south, there is no noise that would go to the north. This is the back side. As noted before, it is full brick with windows that provide light into the interior of the building. This would be the west end of the building. This is what would face Continental Drive, which is the right in, right out that comes off of 159th Street. And then this is the east elevation that would basically face a retaining wall. So there's no pedestrian needs on this side because of its relationship to a lack of pedestrian access, as well as just simply facing a retaining wall on that side. Our request tonight is to place Resolution 26078 on the July 1st City Council agenda for consent or action. Be happy to take any questions. The applicant is also here in the audience tonight, as well as the owner of all of the properties along the fringe there, with the exception of one that's further west of here.
Lance, what's the final height of the building?
The final height of the building, do you happen to know that? Final height of the building?
Yeah. Good evening, Chris Enright. I'm the architect for the project. The height of the building from grade to the mean, essentially the main portion of the building is 24 feet. The top of the tower is around 28 feet.
Okay, so 24 and 28. And then you mentioned a 12-foot retaining wall, so that's what you think is, so 12 feet up, and then that means the rest of it will probably be up and above that retaining wall, right? Okay.
And when you're driving down 159th Street from the east to the west, you will see more of the roof because of the angle that you're coming at. It won't be like, straight up eye level. And so we've been working with the applicant on also some utility screening on the roof, so that air conditioning units and different things like that would also be a part of the screening plan, so that those things don't become as visible either, because you are, when you are on top of the hill, you are definitely above where the roof would be.
Mm-hmm. That came up in the planning and zoning meeting last week, right?
Yep.
They also spoke about a video exhibit that would look at like driving westbound and what that would look like. Did that get completed in the past week?
No, it hasn't
No?
been completed.
Okay. And then the other question was, where are waste tires staged? I know they're staged for recycling or pickup for recycling. Is it that southeast corner, or is that the garbage?
That's a dumpster that would be
Okay.
in the southeast corner that would be essentially back against the retaining wall. So there's a 6-foot-high screen around the dumpster, but it's within the 11 or so 12-foot depth of the retaining wall there. Scrap tires are stored inside the building in that room.
Great.
Taken out on the west side, or the east side.
So nothing will be stored outside, in other words?
There's no storage of any kind outside.
Okay. Lance, I just wanted to ask you, so right now, there's only one entranceway and one going in and coming out. Did I understand correctly that there will eventually be another street that people can get out on the, that would be the east?
If you, I'm trying to think if maybe I have. So, just, if you can see my cursor on the screen?
Yes.
So this is the access point here that comes in off 159th Street. This is what's commonly called a right in, right out, meaning you can only make a right turn in and you can only make a right turn out. There's nobody that could turn left to go out, to go eastbound on 159th Street. The other future condition is right here is the main entrance into Lockport Square.
Okay.
This is where Chipotle is. This is where 7 Brew is, to kind of give you some spatial relationship. The ultimate future plan is that this access will extend across the street. And so when that does extend across the street, this internal road, whether it's called Continental Drive or whatever, will connect into that main entry thoroughfare. When Lockport Square was originally developed, they actually built 159th Street to accommodate a signal. Okay. That's why you have, when you go out of Lockport Square, you've got the striped lanes on the left and the striped lanes on the right. That was intended to be able to set the stage for that through motion that would go across the street through a traffic signal. Okay. And there is certain provisions in the Lockport Square annexation agreement that require them to contribute to the traffic signal in the future once they hit certain traffic count generation. Okay. In addition, if you'll remember when we had the Continental Springs development, they also, as a part of their annexation agreement, contributed $125,000 to a signal, to a future signal, if and when it ever happened. So those two components really create the circulation that would occur broadly within that area, but there is only one access in and out of the site itself.
This time, yeah. So you don't see any kind of traffic jam or anything from, you know, from the car wash to the Wendy's and all those?
As far as it relates to this site, I don't see that as something that would inhibit really anything. The amount of traffic, because there's no drive-through, there's no, you know, constant traffic of people circulating. I mean, everybody has been around a tire store, I'm sure, at some point in their life. There are very few cars that come in and out of a tire store, as opposed to people stopping to get a Diet Coke at McDonald's like I do. So, you know, there's a lot more traffic that comes with some of those food users than there would be with the tire shop. And it's a four-way stopped intersection at that entrance. Okay. So it manages the traffic flow that way.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a quick question. Just wanted to, for the record, make sure that the Springs property is okay with this going in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we received a letter from Continental specifically related to their approval for Bell Tire and their client to be able to come in and proceed with the process.
Yeah, there was a phone call too I made to them directly to ask, and they were fine with it. I guess one question I would have is that I appreciate that they rotated the building so that the high bays aren't facing, you know, the living places in the back. But regardless, I mean, I guess if all the high bay doors are open and it's summertime and they're working, that reverberation off of a wall might be just as loud. I don't know if, I have to imagine that doors stay open, you know, they're not closed all the time where that kind of reverberation would be nullified. That would be the one concern I have a little bit right now.
The sound study that they performed did include all the retaining walls that were a part of that. I don't know if you want to kind of confirm, you know, information related to the sound study and what they found.
Yes, correct. So the company that we use to do this sound study has performed all the sound studies for Bell over the last several years, and they take into consideration the entire project in a three-dimensional aspect. So they have the model of what we created with the Civil 3D programs with all of the surfaces, vertical, et cetera, around the perimeter of the building. And so all their studies are based on that modeling of the existing or the conditions as we've designed it, including the retaining walls and reverberation.
All right, so you guys, just saying it out loud, so you guys took into account reverberation off that wall if bay doors are open and there's work going on?
I'm not the engineer, but that's my understanding of how it was done in the report, yes, sir.
Okay.
Could you also clarify, like, I think it's like Crash Champions where they actually operate with the doors closed, right? They only open to let the cars in and out, or how do the operations actually work?
Doors are not automatic, they're lifted manually, and they're meant to just let the vehicles in, but during warmer weather, the doors are open during the warmer weather times, yes.
Say if the sound study was done with the bays open and all the surfaces modeled, and if you could confirm that, that'd be great. I think that would answer the question definitively.
I can confirm that absolutely, yes, it stands with the doors open.
Great.
And I do have a couple questions. First, I'd like to discuss your diet, Lance, about the Diet Coke. We'll talk about that later. Two questions. Have we considered, impact to all the other, tire and/or mechanical, like shops that we have in town? And secondly, I know the zoning committee wasn't unanimous. So, obviously there was a concern there at some point. So, I would just want to make sure if something like this were to go through, this was something that was absolutely necessary for the town.
I don't think anything's necessary. It's not necessary to have a tire.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying.
Well, can you go over the objections to the planning and
I
zoning?
think there's only one, and it wasn't clarified during the meeting.
Okay.
He
It was just
brought up
simply
no
a-
comments. Yeah, he didn't bring up any comments during discussion.
Okay.
He just voted no.
Just a no.
Okay.
So I don't think, this is my opinion, if I was a national tire store, I wouldn't put one in a town I wasn't going to have success in. If there's some fierce competition going on, you may avoid that town. And with Delwood Tire closing, it does pose an opportunity for someone. I'd love to see a bike shop, but we're a driving town, and I keep
again,
beating my head against the
by that argument, you could say, Walmart would never put a mom and pop business out of business.
Right.
They have more resources. I guess, I'm just a little leery. It's welcome when you're, entering from the town from that direction. It's like welcome to Lockport, kind of a thing. I don't know. Is that?
No, it's always been a concern. I think the only thing that made this remotely open for discussion was the fact that it sits in a hole, right?
Yeah.
And so try to be pragmatic about the reality of where it's sitting. And it's hard enough to get you guys know, we beat our head against the wall trying to get a sit-down restaurant or something out there. They're certainly not going to go in a place where they're hidden.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this particular parcel is, I think, it's the only reason why it's being considered at all, to be honest with you. So it's really a decision of whether we think, its location will develop that lot, and that's a good thing to get it developed. There's always competition, this is a unique situation because it's special use, so unlike other things, we can intercede on it, but.
There is a Bell Tire at, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, all good.
Okay. There is a Bell Tire in Orland, when you go down 159th and 45, and it's big, it's massive, it's huge, or actually, I think that's a Pet Boy, now that I consider it, but you don't think of Pet Boy as being Orland Park. So I know, I understand and respect what you're saying, is that's the first thing you see when you get into Lockport, but I think we're more than just a tire store.
So the road to the east, right, that's always been problematic because it's a property owner that's not going to probably ever realize the value of what they want to sell it for a road. So I guess aside from this project, whatever goes in there, it is, getting that developed. If that road does happen, does this Continental Drive, I'm trying to think of the elevation, they would butt into one another. You'd be able to access it and it would cut across.
Yeah, the whole point and the way that we have worked with Continental specifically to design this is so that the elevations would work together ultimately. We've even considered, would we close the very awkward driveway that person has that kind of loops around in the frontage area and actually allow them to have a short driveway connection right off of that road, just to reduce the amount of snow plowing they have to do and all the other things that they have to do on that property. We haven't broached that topic with them, but it's something that we've been
Sure.
thinking about, because currently, as it stands, what we believe is that when IDOT came through, when Lockport Square was getting built, and they rebuilt 159th Street into the full width that it is today, they didn't want to allow that person to have a full access driveway and entrance at his property, and so that's why I believe it swings around that and the fact that when 159th Street got widened, the horizontal elevation got pushed further to the north, which made it harder to have a driveway come right up to 159th Street as well.
Okay.
So, we've been rolling around with that. That's a longer-term situation that we can certainly entertain that conversation.
Yeah, sure, okay. All right, are there any other outstanding questions for the moment? Anything other information you want to gather, other than like making sure that the sound reverberation was done with doors closed and doors open and everything else, so that we can have our fact street there? Anything else? All right, then why don't we put it on for an action item, get some more information that we're looking for, and we'll do that. We good with an action item, everyone?
Yep.
What information specifically are we?
I'm looking for the sound that we talked about, to make sure it was, we want to understand that it was done with doors open, right?
That's what he said.
He said he was going to look into it to double check.
confirm it, yeah.
Just to confirm it, so.
I can provide the sound study to you. We have it
Okay.
in our possession.
Great.
All right, good, thank
And
you.
then we were waiting for the video, too.
If you'd like that, I don't
Yeah, if
know,
that's
can it be
something
done,
they're
the
building.
video?
I don't know for certain. I certainly will try.
We can certainly get probably still images, I believe.
Yeah,
of
that'd be
what
great.
that
And the
would
fact
look
that
like.
that he's working with city on
Sure.
the screening for utilities on the roof, that's, I mean, it's a nice to, but not, I don't
Yeah.
think it's required.
Okay.
At least for me, for the vote.
Can certainly do that.
All right, friendos, thank you. We'll do action item then. All right, next we're looking for, talk about AT1. What do you got, Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, I've been looking at our administrative adjudication program for the last year, kind of, and looking at, in terms of what type of efficiency we have. When you're looking at administrative adjudication, it's very similar to the criminal justice system in that when you're going to have fines for offenses, you really have three goals in mind. One is to kind of have a chilling effect on people's bad behavior. We're hoping that you can disincentivize people from breaking the law. Second thing you hope to do is to try and recoup the costs of the program itself, the administration of the adjudication program, so that the taxpayers aren't footing the bill for, again, bad behavior. So you want to try and have the fines as best as possible, try and recoup those enforcement costs in terms of the hearing officer or the staff that works in the hearings, et cetera. And then the third thing, just like criminal justice, there is a punishment aspect. When someone does something, there should be a punishment commensurate with the level of severity. So if it's a little parking ticket, obviously, it's going to be a lower fine. If it's someone that's doing something blatant and severe, like a retail theft, or as we've talked about numerous times, these electric dirt bikes we see going up and down the streets, the fines typically would be higher. So over the last year, I've been kind of watching how our program has been working. I've been attending most of the hearings and will continue to do so for a while. And I also noticed that our fines hadn't been adjusted since 2019. So I looked at some of our neighbors, and I noticed that we are significantly lower than almost everyone around. And as I put in my memo to you, Orland Park has had 5 adjustments of their fines in the last 5 years, and we're significantly lower than them. Lamont hasn't had any adjustments to their fines since 2014, but we're still lower than them. We are on par with Joliet, but they haven't really adjusted their fines according to their website since 2008. Now, there's a second component I brought before you tonight, which is there was a Supreme Court case that came out of the village of Midlothian, where, like a lot of communities, Midlothian would have a 10-day period after a ticket was written, and then the fine would double. And the Supreme Court said it's a violation of due process. You cannot punish someone for wanting to avail themselves of the right to have a hearing. So what a lot of communities have done, and what I'm proposing we do here, is instead of having the fine double, you have the fine be whatever it is at day 11, but you offer a discount for the first 10 days. So if someone wants to save money on the ticket, they know that they're guilty, they're going to plead guilty in court, well, incentivize them to get it into us early, and so the fine would be lowered for those first 10 days. Then the regular fine amount would be on day 11, and that would go through the first hearing date. It would not go up until they blew it off, didn't come to court, didn't pay it, et cetera. Then the fine would go up, like everywhere else. So, but that's something we have to do because our current system doesn't quite comport with that Supreme Court case. What we're recommending is a slight adjustment to most of our fines. The recommendation would be for parking tickets to go from $30 to $35. Equipment violations, that would be headlight out, license plate light out, things of that nature, loud mufflers, et cetera, would go from 50 to 60. And the only significant raise we were asking for was ordinance and code violations. And the anomaly that I brought before you in my memo was, you get one of these kids riding electric dirt bikes, it's a minimum $1,000 fine, and our ordinance says that the hearing officer may not reduce that. So it's $1,000, yet someone can go into Walmart and steal something from the store, and if they have no background, they've never been arrested before, they're cooperative with the police, if the officer decides to write it under local adjudication, as opposed to taking them to the circuit court in Joliet, that fine could be paid at $100. So the chief and I talked about that, didn't feel it was really providing the justice I talked about in the very beginning, so we're recommending that those fines go from $100 to $250. Similarly, there are some statutes out there that could be written either under our code or it could be in the administrative adjudication or in the circuit court. Example would be talking on your cell phone while you're driving. It's $331 if you go over to see me in Joliet and I'm prosecuting you on that very ticket, but currently it would be sitting at $100 under our code. That we felt that it would be appropriate to have that be raised up to be closer to a moving violation and fine amount, because they're already getting a break having it not be a moving violation, not having to take a day off of court because administrative adjudication is at night. So they can come after work, go to court there, have their day in court, but it would still be cheaper than going to Joliet, but it would also kind of more match the severity of what we're talking about. So there are seatbelt tickets, other things of that nature. There's a lot of those types of tickets at the officer's discretion could either be written into Joliet Circuit Court or come to administrative adjudication. To kind of balance the request of that large of a jump, we also, in my draft ordinance, would allow the hearing officer to reduce that in circumstances where he or she felt it was warranted. Perfect example, first-time offender who forgot to cut their grass and it got real high and they've never been ticketed before, the hearing officer would have the authority to reduce the fine if they came to court. The only exceptions to that would be the two that they can't touch at all. I already mentioned the one, which is those electric dirt bikes and scooters. That's a minimum fine that can't be reduced. And the second one, under state law, can't be reduced, is a handicap parking violation. So, but for those two, the hearing officer would have the autonomy and authority to reduce the fines if they felt it was appropriate for a first offender, or someone that made an honest mistake, or a kid where the parents weren't aware of what their kid was doing, et cetera. So with all of those, we were requesting the fines to be adjusted according to our recommendation. I'm available to answer any questions you may have. Otherwise, we'd be asking that ordinance 26016, which would amend two of our chapters of our Code of Ordinances regarding to fines and penalty, placed on the next agenda for action or consent.
Did you say the scooter is a state number? They put the $1,000?
No, that's us. The ordinance here made it 1,000. Yeah.
Now, I remember when we did it was because it was.
The scooters is not the 1,000. The scooters is the regular, but you're correct about the state part. They dictated the 18 years old.
Yes.
That was the portion,
That's
but
the piece,
that's not
right.
the $1,000. That $1,000 that is referenced is the ATV dirt bike, whether it's electric or motorized, no pedals, that type of thing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On July 1, there's been a new text amendment basically to the Illinois state statute, and I was hoping that you and the chief could go ahead and get together and see if we need to have any text amendments to the ordinance we passed a few months ago.
I just had a seminar this afternoon with the Illinois Local Government Lawyers Association. The governor has not signed that yet, so the likelihood of it going into effect July 1st is almost zero. We believe he will sign it. It's not signed yet. Once it is signed and the final version is, etched in stone, then the chief and I will go over it and see if we have to make any adjustments.
All right. I have some thoughts, but what's on your minds? Anything?
I just have a question about the e-bikes. Yes. There is an age limit, correct, for any person to
16?
Yeah. 16.
Right.
Okay.
And there's also an age limit on a passenger. They have to be 18 unless they're a sibling or a child.
Okay, and that's driving them on the road.
Correct.
A sidewalk, does that apply also?
The governor just signed a new bill on that as well on June 12th. I haven't seen the final version of it yet. I saw the bill that led up to his signature. Yes, it prohibits operating them on sidewalks. Municipalities have the right, if they wish to, under home rule authority, to limit their use on multi-use paths, on bike paths, et cetera, but there has to be signage, and, the jury's still out on what the signage will look like. It has to follow the standard uniform traffic manual, and that's not even out yet for those types of signs. But yes, they would be on the street.
Okay, all right. Because I know that there's kids that are actually driving those e-bikes, and I don't believe they're 16 years old.
We're also on the sidewalk. I just saw one today when I was coming in, driving down the sidewalk with electric dirt bike.
And it's really dangerous, because they don't have the maneuver, if something, if somebody approached them or whatever, how to maneuver. It could be very dangerous and very deadly, actually.
I'd be surprised if we don't have to amend the ordinance we just did last summer. We had to get it in before the deadline, because there are at least 2 bills that were floating out there, and I know one of them was signed. I just haven't seen the final version yet.
So basically, they need to have a driver's license.
No, they're not. No, it does not require a driver's license. The ones
Said
that
to be
do,
age. Just a,
yeah.
okay.
The ones that do are the ones that are over a certain cc of gasoline-powered bicycle,
Yeah.
or over a certain wattage of electric bicycles. They're higher speed bikes. They're capable of going more than 28 miles an hour. Anything below that 28 mile an hour mark does not need a driver's license.
Okay. So
clear as mud.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it is. Well, and I remember when, the reason we did the super high fine is, look, nobody has a problem with a kid taking their dirt bike to a field, but the problem is they don't just follow the traffic laws. They blow every stop sign all the way down Jefferson doing a wheelie, even across 9th Street without stopping. And it's like, dear God, man, just ride like a human being and we wouldn't have a $1,000 fine, right? So I understand it. It's always been the struggle for that. I just don't want to, I just want to be harassing people for tall grass, man, with a higher fine. I mean, it's kind of the emotional gist I have of this. So, just because our neighbors have higher fines doesn't, well, that means I got to have a higher fine. I mean, that's only my struggle with this, is making sure we're just not, to be honest with you, getting a fine for my taillight out always makes me crazy. It's like, dude, I don't know my taillight's out. How am I supposed to know my taillight's out, right? I got to pay $35 for you to tell me? Just pull me over and say, hey, your taillight's out, go get it fixed, right? So
$60, sir.
$60. So,
if those go into Joliet, it's $285.50. That's just to kind of draw the comparison.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drive over there.
I'm saying, yeah, if it goes in the circuit court, the minimum fine comes out, it's $29 to the city, but with all the court costs assessed, it's $285.50.
All right. Okay.
I had something I want to bring up, and this is slightly separate, but as somebody who gets my share of parking tickets, I know that there's, well, it's not always me, it's my household.
Yeah.
It's my kids.
But we have a great system, Frontline, where you can go online, you can put the cars that are going to be on the street when you've got people coming in from out of town. I'd like us to look at maybe allowing more days of that. You can always call in beyond that, but that's taking some resources to answer that phone that could be something that's actually, an emergency or something that needs to get routed to an emergency number. So I'd propose, and I know it doesn't have to be part of this ordinance, it's just us coming to the agreement that it's okay to be able to do like 4 days instead of 2.
They have to go through the police department, don't they,
That's
to get that
correct.
permit?
That's correct. So currently, it's 2 days per vehicle license plate in a 30-day period. Before we had Frontline, the citizen would just call the police department. We allowed 5 calls per month per household. Frontline doesn't work per household, it works per license plate. I have zero problem, it's a police department policy. I can change it to 4 days if that's what we all feel comfortable. It would be 4 days per car, license plate, per month. So if you had 4 cars, do the math on how many times they can park on the street. We have no problem with it. Whatever the council feels is best for the town and the neighborhoods are fine with us.
Well, why don't we discuss that outside of this, right? It's kind of a new business, but it's a fine thing to discuss. All right, does anybody else have any comments on this at the moment? I'd like it on action. I just want to take a look at all those fees one more time.
I do have a question. The $1,000 for a scooter does seem very high.
And again, I know why we did it. I
Yeah.
remember, this was years ago when everybody was just blowing through every stop sign, every kid would not pay attention.
And it's
I know,
not-
it's,
Yeah, as the mayor said, it's not the scooters. It's absolutely not a scooter.
So can
It
they be
is-
separated then?
The ordinance is separated, and the $1,000 that's been referenced is if you're riding a dirt bike or an ATV, and these are the vehicles that they're using to ride up and down on the golf course, causing thousands of dollars of
Yes.
damage, thousands of dollars of damage to school property, to public property, people's lawns. They're not bicycles, they're not scooters. We just had one out at the Texaco property, who was just destroying property out there. They're off-road vehicles, though that's what constitutes it. That or driving a golf cart through the street, things that are not allowed, not legal in Lockport.
Got you. But
As someone on a scooter, that's completely different.
Okay, but is
E-bike, different.
the scooter fine $1,000?
No, what I was talking about with scooter, there's a new version of scooter called a high-speed electric scooter, and they'll go 50 miles an hour. It's not, we're not talking about the little scooters that have a little,
Okay,
little
like 5 miles an hour?
battery on them. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. There's another kind of scooter that came out that's really, really fast. And that would be, what the chief said, it's called an unauthorized off-road vehicle. It's not designed to be operated on the street. They are operating on the street. And what I'll tell you to ease your mind a little bit about the fine, when I first started working here a little bit over a year ago, I saw all these kids, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to have 50 of these tickets a month. We don't. Our officers are very compassionate with kids, like what the mayor said, that are legitimately going somewhere where they have authority to ride them. They're not damaging property. They're being, safe and considerate. Those aren't the kids that are getting pulled over. It's these kids that are, as the mayor mentioned, doing 40 or 50 down the street, doing wheelies, blowing through stop signs. That's when the officers have been writing these tickets. I typically prosecute 1 or 2 of them a month, and we see how many there are out there. So they really are saving those $1,000 tickets for the kids that are completely violating the law, damaging property, putting themselves and other people at risk.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
And in some cases, it is working, because we're getting calls from parents
Absolutely.
saying, I guess I'm selling the motorbike, because.
They all
Yeah,
say that.
So it is, it's working.
I will say I've seen less of them too,
Yeah.
so it is working.
I would say almost every parent that's come to adjudication has said, I already got rid of it, I already sold it, because they didn't realize how bad these things were.
Well, there are legal ones. They just have to have pedals.
Correct.
Like, you have to
That's
be able to.
E-bike, that's different, yeah.
all right, we'll put it on for action. And anything else we got for new business or anything? Well, Jonathan, why don't you talk with staff a little bit about extra day parking, and we'll
I talked with
figure out
them,
how to get that
and,
in. Okay, that's it. Then look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Christina, and anyone else? Second. Second by Jonathan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.